Okay, how's it going? I have a website. My website is called pointlesstraveler.com, and this is my second look at the Klymit Static V Luxe. So this is the Klymit Static V Luxe, and I've been sleeping on it for about a month, and I want to talk about some things. I've seen on other blogs. I saw on let's see where, on Outdoor Gear Lab and on another blog or another YouTube blog, I heard people say that the Klymits are kind of cold. And yeah, it's true. They are kind of cold. And obviously Klymit is going to say that, this can be bought in an insulated version. But let me just say that, this is the same, this packs down to the same size and weight as a 1.5 liter water bottle. So a full-size water bottle that would go in the side pocket of your pack. And it's kind of heavy, about 2 pounds. Imagine if this was insulated, it would pack down to about the size of a basketball. Maybe not a basketball, but if you have a 75 liter pack that can fit a helmet for rock climbing or even a motorcycle helmet, that's about how big this is going to pack down to if it's insulated. It's going to pack down pretty big, about the size of a volleyball. So you're going to need a big pack. If you've only got a 45 liter pack, you won't really have room for any food. You'll just have room for bare essentials. This is a big gear item. If you carry a 4-pound 2-person tent, plus plus a sleeping bag that doesn't pack down very small, like a zero bag, you're gonna need a minimum of 55 liters to pack all that stuff in there. All right, so what I want to talk about is, it's important to go uninsulated with your air pads and use a mummy bag. These baffles that you see there, those grooves, that's where your warm air collects. Your bag, your mummy bag or your quilt, it goes in, your body heat warms up the air that's inside of those areas. Okay, and it doesn't really matter how thick the denier of the pad is. The thicker the denier, the more durable. So this has got 75 denier on the top and bottom, and I would say that I would give this a rating of like 100 out of 100 for durability. It couldn't be any more durable. There's probably like a 0% chance that this is going to pop. You really don't need a ground cloth underneath this. So the Klymit V Luxe, it won't pop. And the ultralight version has the same 75 denier on the bottom and 30 denier on the top. So it isn't really very light. That isn't really an ultralight version. The Static V2, I wouldn't really consider that ultralight. 30 plus 75 is 105 denier. The ultralight Ceta Summit uses 40 on top and bottom, so that's 80 denier. That's 50 denier less, right? So wait a minute, it's like 25 denier less than the Static V2. So the Klymit Ultralight is much heavier than the Ceta Summit Ultralight, but the Xped Basic Ultralight, which is out of stock, only uses 15 denier on top and bottom, so that's 30 denier. So imagine, for the same size air pad, you can fit 5 Xpeds into your pack in the same amount of space that you can fit this one air pad into your pack. So even though this won't pop, it's taking up 5 times more space in your pack than a 15 denier air pad. Now there aren't any 15 denier air pads on the market right now, but the Xped, they did make the basic UL, which used 15 denier. Now that popped all the time, but you'd be surprised how easy it is to patch that 15 denier air pad. You just have to rub a little bit of fabric glue on the little tiny holes that it gets, and it's patched. It does, it takes some know-how, but anyway. Okay, now let's talk about warmth to weight ratio. Now this is fast. Those 2 valves on top, those are fast. You can get the air in and out of this air pad pretty quickly, but it isn't light. Now let's talk about warmth to weight ratio. You know that this is heavy. It's about 2 pounds, and the problem with it is it's actually really cold. Now right away, I just want to say that it's very comfortable. It's got 3 inches of loft. Okay, so you lose 3 inches on every side. On the top, the bottom, and the sides, you lose 3 inches everywhere. So it starts out as 6 feet, 6 inches long, but it reduces to 6 feet. It starts out I think as 36 inches wide, 3 feet wide, but it reduces to 30 inches, which is good because a lot of bivvies are only 30 inches wide. And it's very, very comfortable. It's really comfortable to sleep on your stomach, on your side, or on your back. These baffles are really interesting. The middle of these baffles, they have a lot of extra loft. They've got almost like 3.5 inches of loft. And so you can really dig your shoulder into there and get all the padding and cushion that you need to stay comfortable at night. And this pillow area is really easy to rest your head at night. But the problem with it is, the reason why it's cold is because this is a cold spot in the corner, and so is this in this corner. The ground underneath the air pad is cold. Okay, so the whole entire air pad is getting into contact with the cold ground all the time. Your sleeping bag is warming up this area, okay? But look at this. The warm air that's in these baffles, that's being warmed up by your heart, by your chest, it connects directly to this cold spot. So your head is here, and there's nothing here. There's no sleeping bag or any warmth here. There's no sleeping bag or any warmth there. The cold air molecules are all in here. So this is all cold air molecules. This is all cold air molecules. The warmest part of your body is here, but those baffles are directly connected to those cold air molecules. So these warm air molecules here are being cooled off by these. So there's cold air here, warm air here. The cold air is cooling off this warm air constantly. So all night, your chest area never gets warm because there's cold air here that's cooling off the warm air under your chest. And when you wake up in the morning, you'll feel sick because your chest is cold. So your skull will actually warm up this area. There will be a little warm spot here. There will also be a warm spot here under your butt because this whole area is covered up by your quilt, by your sleeping bag. Okay, so this area is warm, but because this area comes into contact with this cold spot, this area here is cold. Your chest stays cold. So the way to use this is to flip it upside down. Flip the Klymit upside down, either the Klymit Static V, the Klymit Static V2, or the Klymit Static V Luxe. Any of these Klymits that have this V ridge design. Now look at this. Your head is here. Your chest is here. Your quilt is covering up this whole area. So this whole area is covered by the sleeping bag. And you can see how these baffles, they start at the chest here, and they stay underneath the, your sleeping bag covers this whole area. So there's warm air molecules here in the center where your chest is, and the warm air molecules stay underneath the sleeping bag that way, and this all stays warm. So you flip it upside down, your head is here. It's a little less comfortable, that's the problem. Okay, but this warm air is gathering here, and it's all underneath your quilt. This cold spot here, see, it doesn't connect to anything. That cold air doesn't come into contact with anything. It just stays on the sides. So that's cold. This corner is cold, but the middle stays warm. The middle is underneath your sleeping bag. It stays warm. Now the problem is, when you lay on this thing, it's kind of a weird design because normally when a man lays on something that's, you can see it's kind of like, it's got kind of like this erotic, kind of weird rated R thing going on where it's like the legs are like spread out and you're laying on it. You're laying on somebody with their arms and legs spread out. It's kind of weird. So that's kind of the weird aspect of it, is that it is cold and it has this weird design that's kind of like a man is like laying on somebody with that's like spread out. It's kind of gross. It's kind of weird. All right, but the other issue is that the pillow is really comfortable. This is a really comfortable place to get to adjust your shoulder and your head, but it's too cold. You got to flip it upside down. Once you flip it upside down, it's really not as comfortable. The Klymit is famous for being comfortable. It isn't really that comfortable upside down, but at least when you wake up in the morning, you won't feel sick because this whole area stays warm since the baffles are underneath your sleeping bag. So anyway, that's my second look at the Klymit V Luxe. It is an interesting product. It's really big and comfortable. It's kind of cold. Obviously you can get it insulated, but I would say that an insulated air pad is gonna be huge in your pack. If you're using anything less than a 55-liter pack, you really can't use an insulated air pad. I think that it is a valid choice. I don't know if it's the best choice. I like Xped. So there's my second look at the Static V Luxe. Thank you very much. Bye.